Welcome to the Good Food Kitchen. I'm Jeremy Dixon from the Revive Cafes in Auckland, and today I'm going to share with you a delicious, healthy, quick dish you can make for your family, a Sri Lankan balti. To make this dish, you're going to need the following ingredients. This dish is one of the hot pots we serve at Revive, which is kind of like a curry or something that's kind of like a one-pot wonder. And these are very easy and quick to make because it's basically all about throwing ingredients into one pot and cooking it until it's finished. So to start with these, the best thing to start with is onions. Onions add great sweetness and flavour and a good base to any curry or for this particular balti. So we're just going to take the skins off. I've already heated up the pan so it's nice and hot and ready to go. And we're just going to just dice these. Nothing too chefy about it. Just enough so it's relatively semi-finely diced. I'll put a bit of oil in the pan. There we go, nice and hot. And get these underway. This is the part that's going to take the longest, is getting the onions cooked and turning them from that current raw state into something that's really sweet and flavoursome. Going to add some ginger, and you can chop up your own fresh ginger if you want, but I love using these great ginger purees you can find in the supermarket. So quick. So good blob there. And we're going to add some garlic. And an easy way to put garlic in is to just put it in your garlic press, skins on, then just squeeze it through into the pan like that. Never ever buy garlic in those little containers in the supermarket. It's a food crime basically, so don't do it. Make sure you always use garlic fresh. So that base is going nicely there. So the kind of the featured protein for this dish is I'm going to use some tofu. And you can find tofu at all Asian shops and pretty much all supermarkets these days. And what I've done with this tofu is I've actually frozen it overnight. And what happens when you freeze it, all the kind of the ice crystals change it from a silky, smooth kind of a texture to more of a kind of a fleshy, rough kind of a texture. So we're just going to peel this off. As you can see, it's very different than the normal smooth texture. We're just going to peel it off and put it in the pan here. If you've got friends that like chicken, you might even be able to confuse them with this dish. Because we want to drive out all the moisture so it becomes nice and chewy and has a really nice texture. Look at that, nice and chunky. So I'll stir that around. Then it'll take a couple of minutes just to evaporate. The onions only take a couple of minutes really to start going flavoursome and start to caramelise, so we'll throw some other ingredients in. So we've got our spices, and this is what gives it kind of a Sri Lankan feel. So we have some cumin, we have some cardamom, and again, if you don't like these spices for any reason, just put a little bit in or none of it and add it at the end if you want to. And obviously the clove powder have an amazing smell to them, and they really add such a depth to this dish. So stir that around. The spices just need a little bit of activating just to get their flavours coming out. So I'll just let that sit there for a couple of minutes, just to let the onion to keep caramelising and the tofu to drive the moisture out, and then we'll finish off with our finishing ingredients. Okay, most of the moisture's come out of that. It's kind of gone very, as you can see, it's gone a bit drier, and the onion is nicely sweetened and soft as well. So we're going to add some tomatoes. And just some chopped tomatoes. You generally want tomatoes that are kind of quite kind of pureed. If you've got kind of chopped tomatoes or whole tomatoes, make sure you put them through a blender or a stick blender just to make them so they're a nice even consistency. You don't want, chopped tomatoes with a watery kind of mixture. So 2 cans of tomatoes. Give them a mix through. We're going to add some tomato paste, and this just gives it just a bit of extra oomph with the tomato-ness and a bit of extra thickness as well. So we'll just use 2 tablespoons of that. And we're going to add some honey. Liquid honey is the best because it's just easily to use and it's a great healthy alternative to using sugar. And some salt. Give that a stir around. And if you've got a really nice hot pan, that only takes a couple of minutes to come up to heat. Look at that. Okay, I've pre-roasted off some pumpkin. So just basically in the oven with a little bit of oil. And this just adds a great texture and great sweetness to it as well, and a little bit of interest. So roasted vegetables in these kind of dishes are always great. So we'll stir that through. And just to finish it off, because it's not looking that amazing at this stage, but if we add some creaminess to it. So 200 ml of coconut cream, just or half a big can or 1 small can, and stir that through, and that'll just give it a lovely creaminess and finish off the dish. Now you don't want to cook it with the coconut cream, it just kind of gets warmed. So there we go, mix it through, and that dish is nearly finished. Just grab a good handful of mint and parsley. Use Italian parsley is best. Just chop it up relatively roughly. And that dish is now finished, ready to hit the table. And all those flavours and lovely spices with the mint and the tofu will make this a really lovely dish. So you can serve it on rice, quinoa, just as you normally would a curry. But I'd recommend you to give it a try, and it's so easy.